Two dads in a jazz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a jazz, talking Green Bay Packers football.
We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Mostly gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air condition, cause it's bound to get hot.
Two dads in a jazz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a jazz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two dads in a jazz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Hey, welcome to Two Dads and a Chaz, the Green Bay Packer podcast with the Dad Podcast. If a dad was a podcast, that's basically what we are. Fuckable to some, loved by most, and hated by few, and that's fine by us. We are here to share our love, thoughts, and most importantly, to soothe our fan-driven, obsessive-compulsive anxiety surrounding our beloved Green Bay Packers. We are not writers, we are not journalists, or really professionals of any kind. But what we are Hall of Fame, all-pro Packer fans who take this game seriously. We are going to make up some rumors, and we're going to make up some unwarranted assumptions and judgments about some iconic professional athletes that we have never even met. No, not a one. So if you've got cheese in your veins, beer on your breath, and Packers in your heart, welcome home, ladies and gents. Side note, we do use crude language here at Two Dads and a Chaz, so put your kids to bed. This ain't Nickelodeon. This is Huck It, Chuck It football. Disclaimers aside, I am your host, Chaz, a.k.a. the Wisco Kid, and now it's time to introduce the dads of Two Dads and a Chaz podcast. First up, he's known for his ability to drink beer and talk Packers football. And well, ladies and gentlemen, he's all out of beer. Let's give it up for Tyson, a.k.a. T-Bone. How you feeling, Tyson?
Gentlemen, as a true dad, I am fucking tired. Let me tell you, I'm glad to be here. But it has been a long week and a long day. That doesn't mean I don't got all the energy in the world for these beautiful fans and this beautiful team. Got to dig deep sometimes. Dad's down. So here to represent the dads, Wisconsin, really Midwest, perhaps the whole nation. It's an honor. It's an honor and privilege.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Next up, dad number 2. This beautiful SOB has been tickling your taste buds for 20 years. His food is not unlike himself. Salty, savory, sweet, and at times a bit nutty. You know him. You love him. He puts the run in Aaron Mayhew, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, Chaz, I'm doing fine. Thank you for that terrific introduction. Boys, week 2 in the bank, so to speak, and I'm just excited to be side by side with you two fine gentlemen for yet another Packer podcast. So, Chaz, let's kick it off.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, guys, after this last game, I want to talk a little bit about recap. Now, not recap as you're thinking, I don't want to hear players, I don't want to hear stats, I don't want to hear numbers, I don't want to hear any of that. I want to hear where you guys watched the Bears game. I want to hear who was at your house. I want to hear what you were eating. I'm going to go ahead and start with Tyson.
Well, mine is going to be not as good as Aaron's, I'm sure. Mine was, I had planned a Bears gathering at my house. Sunday night football seemed like a pretty safe bet. I would be done with my obligation if it started, like 4 a.m. That for sure, this event would be well over. I would have time to go to the grocery store, stock up, take a shower, get myself prepared, do all my waxing before the game, like I do. Well, that's not how it worked out. Ended up, the event went very long, ended up staying very late. And as a result, I ended up rolling in to my house after I'd say the second drive. So I missed the beginning of the game. I'd call everybody and call them off for the most part because I realized that I wasn't going to get back in time and couldn't put it on my wife to entertain too many people all at once. And it was not a fair situation. So I aborted, and I was sure we were in for doom. I was sure that this was a sign of the end of times and that the Packers were going to lose to the Bears. I was actually going to have to burn my garage to the ground, as that's what I had stated I would do on the podcast. It's a really heavy heart. Well, the Packers came through for me completely. Also, my neighbor heard me yelling in the garage and came over and joined me. So I wasn't alone like a lunatic. Yeah, I ended up rally. We ended up winning that game, and it felt fantastic. And I'll tell you what, Packers are the ultimate energy pill. When you think you got nothing left, just put on the pack. Bam.
I'm glad you didn't burn that garage down, buddy. At least not before I come home to see it again, because I love that space. May you tell me a little bit about your game experience, buddy?
Well, boys, like Tyson said, being a dad with kids, Sunday at 7:30 for a start time is not easy. You're trying to get these maniacs down, and I got to admit, our daughter was a little bit under the weather, which didn't necessarily help things. So we were behind. We're behind the clock. Now, my wife could sense the tension in the air, you know what I mean? And she bathed these two kids like I've never seen, like straight up superhero mode. Teeth were being brushed. It was like a whirlwind of stuff happening. And I did like almost nothing, it felt like, basically gets the daughter down, sends me out like 2 minutes before kickoff so that I could sit down, wrap my head around this game a little bit. And so I just need to give a nod to my lovely wife for understanding how important this is to me, understanding how important this team is to us, and sacrificing. You know what I mean? So, and past that, guys, once the game turned into what it did, where I felt like it was fairly in hand, like we moved into bed, and it's honestly one of my favorite ways to kind of watch a Packer game. Sunday night, falling asleep, I'm comfortable. As long as we win. If we lose, I'm just fucking miserable, and I probably get out of bed and like pace the house, until the next morning. But
go back and watch podcasts.
Exactly. So, Chaz, how about yourself? Where'd you end up?
Well, boys, I got to tell you, I didn't tell Tyson this for days, even though I knew it was coming. I actually watched the game at a Bears fan's house. And I got to tell you, come back now. Come on back, baby. Don't do me dirty like that. I Trojan horsed him, as Tyson said. He was worried at first because you never know how this is going to throw off the game. And if the first, quarter would have gone out in our favor, he'd been like, get out. But instead, it was in our favor. I ended up having a great time. But I got to tell you, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, I got to tell you, I love watching Packer games with Bears fans when we're winning. I hate watching Packer games with Bears fans when we're losing, but we don't lose that often. So it was great. And the food was great. The spread was great. Other than that, I couldn't complain a bit. I mean, I will, but I'm not going to right now. We got more complaining coming up later. Gentlemen, we were, since we're in recap, we last week put up our predictions for what we thought the score was going to be. Now, as far as what we had, I had mine, which was 26-3 for the Packers, obviously. Tyson was at 27-17. And Mayhew was 24-17. Final score being 27-10. Both you and Mayhew were tied for the closest. So I got to give my hand just to you. Way to go, boys. You were still off by 7 points. But were we surprised by the score? I'm going to leave that one open-ended to whoever wants to answer.
I think I pulled back because in my heart, I wanted to see this offense just annihilate, but I just wanted to, kind of keep my expectations kind of held down a little bit. I am slightly surprised given how much we dominated every facet of the game, in my opinion, specifically time of clock, which is we shot ourselves in the foot in a couple of key points of the game that could have easily put us up into the high 30s, low 40s. And defensively too, I mean, aside from the opening series where they drove down, kind of caught us off guard, I mean, we were kind of shutting them down all day. So no, I think all of our scores were reasonable, and outcome I think could have been a little bit different had we just executed a few things a little bit better. You know what I mean?
I had a bit of the same vein. I had a great time at that game, mainly because I love watching Bears fans sweat and complain and throw things. But I got to say that there's room for improvement. I think everybody can agree here that there is room for improvement. I mean, I'll take a win over a loss any day because I love winning more than I hate losing. Reverse that. But if we're going to move on, I would say there is improvement. I think we can all agree on that. As far as a couple of key things going into this last game, gentlemen, Elton Jenkins back in the fold. What are we thinking? Did we like it? Did we not like it? Should we fire the guy? Should we give him a raise?
Tyson, I know you know this offensive line inside and out. I'd like to pass this one to you to start, actually.
Can I do C, all of the above? Like, I think he did fine. I mean, really, like, there were moments that he gave up some pretty bad sacks and like got beat. And there were other times that he clobbered the shit out of some people and it looked really good. And so it's hard for me to say with your first game back in a year or so, it's hard to judge off of that. But playing against the Bears, I would be concerned because that wasn't top flight talent that was giving him a run for his money. And next week we are dealing with top flight talent. So but do I want him coming in cold like that against the Bucs? No. And they probably don't want Bach doing it either, which is crazy. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But I just think that I think Elton Jenkins had a solid C game, and he is a B+ player. So I'm glad he's back and he's able to play. But there were some concerning plays. There was some concerning lack of motion that was happening on the right side.
Yeah, I land near what you're saying on a majority of that. Dude, the guy tore his fucking ACL like 10 months ago. The fact that he's out on the field this early shows like not only his work ethic. I know everybody like heals a little bit differently, but man, to get out there and have confidence in that leg and play at this level is it's got to be nerve-wracking. So I thought, like Tyson said, it was an up and down day. But I saw flashes of like what he used to be. And I think it was important kind of getting him in there against a lower competition, like defensive front. Tyson, I would absolutely agree there, in hopes that he kind of feels good about rolling into next week against Tampa Bay. Now, what I thought was interesting, I mean, you think of the blind side as always being the most important. And he played meaningful snaps last year at left tackle, like before getting hurt, like more than capable. I mean, the guy before he went down was a star in the making, probably still will be. But they decided instead to put him in on the right side, which in a perfect world with David Bakhtiari back makes a lot of sense. Josh Nijman had a troubling day as well on a lot of fronts. But I guess, Tyson Chaz, do you feel like this is an implication that Bakhtiari might be coming back sooner rather than later?
It's the hope that kills you in games, in sports like this. You know what I mean? We can hope and hope and hope, and we can talk about juju, we can talk about faith, we can just talk about numbers. But in my opinion, especially with somebody that's injured, you hope they're coming back. You want to see your best players out there on the field every week. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen all the time. There's a whole reason why we're not going to do a segment on injuries tonight, because it's pretty much the same. And the number one is going to be that where the hell is David Bakhtiari? Do I think that this football team can rise above if the people in those positions, not unlike Elton Jenkins, who's back, can rise to the occasion? Sure. But am I also worried? Yeah, I'm peppered with worry. Absolutely.
Well, I think the thing for me is, I understand like during preseason, they are shuffling these guys around left and right. And like you continue a story of like, well, we want to see like what the pairings are, give these guys opportunities, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing more important than consistency. If you can have it, like injury-free across that offensive front, for guys to get used to working next to each other. They've had fucking none up until now, and then insert a new right tackle, where I think that's the point. They're putting that right because I do think they feel like Bakhtiari is going to be like back soon. I think we're close. So that's kind of where my head's at. I thought Josh Myers is still like in year 2. Was it year 2, 3 here? Like, okay. And then the guard play, man, I definitely missed John Runyon yesterday. Like you can definitely feel like that impact. But I just feel like this offensive line I thought was going to come out as a little bit more of a powerhouse right out of the gate. And I'm thinking it just might take a little bit of time to grow. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Josh's play was definitely concerning. Also, we took a guy in Royce Newman who was struggling at right tackle, and we're like, well, put your right guard. And he's like, I'll struggle there too. I'll struggle wherever you need me to struggle. I can struggle anywhere on this line, turns out. I was really hoping that we would have had some consistency and pride within this group that really would have like came together in this game. I saw it out of the defense for sure. I saw coming together, but I think you add one new ingredient in there and it just changes the whole dynamic. And it's also a guy who's just trying. I'm sorry, how much right tackle Did he play? How much right tackle did Alton Jenkins even play? I know he played left tackle. I know he played guard, center, played everywhere. Did he play right tackle for us before?
He has, yeah. He's had snaps over there before.
Right. Well, I know he was dominant in every position, but coming off an ACL, and then a fresh pec injury, just trying to feel it out. I don't know. I feel like this is a good get back game if you're sure this guy is an improvement. I'm pretty sure everyone is convinced he's better than anything else we got at right tackle. But it's disappointing to me that there were other people that have been in this offensive line shuffle the entire time, aren't dealing with any injuries, and are still just really seeming to have a hard time to not be able to do it without help, not be able to take on just their guy. They need, and to expect a tackle to come in, not only take care of his business, but to give help to Royce. I feel like that's the bad side.
Gentlemen, a lot of good points there. I want to move into a little bit of wide receiving, a little bit of running back. I think we're going to start with some running backs, because I got to tell you, I was pretty impressed with a couple of people. There are not many to choose from, I can tell you that. But we can talk about the fact that they had some pretty damn good games. And you guys know their names. You love them. I love them. They worship at their feet. I want to talk about Dion. I want to talk about Jones. Who had the better game? Now, I'm not talking about numbers. We're going to get to the numbers. I'm going to bust them out. But who do you think played hard, huck it, chuck it?
Jones, I thought, had a historically good game. He was absolutely running reads exactly the way he should, following the line of the play. Like, things were falling into play. Here's the other side. This offensive line, as much as I just dogged them, that really much is in regard to the pass blocking, because their run blocking was kind of beautiful. There were times you'd see these plays roll out and there'd be a guard like 15, 20 yards down the field. You're like, wow, the fuck is that guy down there? We have there's some really good stuff going on in the run blocking department, and it was really nice to see it come together, particularly for Jones, who seems like he can be pretty unstoppable at times if everyone does their job. I mean,
yeah, he had 15 attempts, 132 yards. He's averaging 8.8. Longest was 36 was it, and 2 touchdowns, and that was both for pass and for running play. But at the same time, Dion looked amazing on that field. He was taking some hard hits. He was dropping that shoulder. He was making some serious cuts. I mean, 18 attempts, 61 yards, 3.4 average, longest only 11. Now, no touchdowns, but anything to add on that, Mayhew?
No, obviously, I think Showtime was completely the star of the show today. And if anything, it gets back to what I think all three of us thought the game plan was going to look a little bit more like week 1, honestly, like showcasing this backfield that we have. And I think once we finally took advantage, my God, he erupted. I think it's also still very important to realize that this Bears defense is complete fucking trash. Up front, linebackers, you can tell me that Rashaan Smith is elite. I simply just don't believe it based on what I saw yesterday, where we need to be doing this. So as much as I want to pat ourselves on the back, good game. I still think that we need to continue to kind of lean into the running game to round out this offense in general. And so that was really good to see. I think slightly moving on from the running backs to the receivers, Chaz, like you were mentioning, was again what I think they wanted to do all along with a healthy Lazard, was kind of have a lot more veteran presence there, right? We saw a lot more Sammy Watkins, who I need to fucking apologize for last week. I dogged that guy real hard. He had an impressive game. Tyson, he still got those legs, baby. Still got them.
I'm sure you heard you, Aaron. That looked like a man that just took an Aaron Mayhew shot to the ear, and he had a chip to get off his shoulder.
I couldn't agree more. And on top of that, you get like Randall Cobb getting back in the mix. It's just good seeing that guy's number. Yeah, I got camera again, just Mr. Reliable.
Contested catch, captain contested catch, because he can't get separation doesn't mean he can't catch the ball.
Right. That's right.
And then they utilize the rookies like in the best way too, So some end arounds for Watson, like utilize that speed, just kind of get him comfortable in the game, and do it in a couple of those screens to Romeo Doubs. Like, dude, that guy is fucking electric. Like once he kind of feels more comfortable in this offense, I love both those cats, honestly. So
I don't know. Someone was like, "Oh, he's not fast. He's just a little quick." And I'm like, I don't know, dude. That guy looked fast as fuck when they did that one. That one screen was gorgeous. He looked like Antonio Brown in that play. I'm like, damn. if that's what we got, like, yeah, we need to learn to. We got to get into a situation where we can feed that guy too.
Yeah,
But if you had to give it to the backs or to the receivers, I mean, me personally, I got to go to the backs because, I mean, numbers across the board. Yes, we had a 55-yard catch from Sammy Watkins, right? With 93 yards total, but that guy had 3 receptions, just 3. We're looking at Lazard, 2 receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown. So that's great. Christian Watson, 3 receptions for 9 yards. That's 3 yards a carry. I want to be seeing bigger numbers. I want to be seeing more of that out of that receiving core because eventually we're going to come against a defensive line that's going to be trying to shut down these backs super hard. Yay or nay?
I'm going to give you the Brett Favre ride the middle answer. I really feel like Alan Lazard is the straw that stirs the running game's drink. Having him back changed our whole approach. I saw him do like 3 devastating crackback blocks. I saw Lazard blow a dude completely up. Like, that guy is one of the best blocking wide receivers in the game. And that really matters when you have a young offensive line that's trying to figure out what they're good at. Man, just having like a Mercedes Lewis and that guy on the same side of the field, like, I feel pretty confident I'm going to run that side of the field if I'm a running back. And usually it's going to work out. You know, that is having him back. The yards don't tell the story of what Alan Lazard does to this offense. It made everybody feel more stable and confident. So to me, he's like the invisible silent MVP for like what he did for the run game. And he made some ballsy catches and some ballsy routes.
Like the way they ran their offense this week, right? You know, with the run game was clearly what we knew was advantageous, so they leaned on it, you know. And we're always, in my mind, I'm always trying to think of like long term. Is like, how many plays do we actually show in a game? Like, we got to like build up throughout the year, not show our hand too much. So when the run game's working the way it does, like, why would you get away from it? You know what I mean? Yeah, Tyson, huge hats off to the wide receivers for blocking in general. And I think Lazard is like one of the best in the league in that capacity. Absolutely. But I think it's, again, this symbiotic relationship with the offensive line and its inability to pass block the way that they want to. Because week 1, like the offense we were trying to run out there, I think is what we want to do. But when Aaron Rodgers basically turns around and he's getting fucking, sacked like moment after the ball is hiked, like, what doesn't make sense to keep continuing to try to push it downfield. So what do? We play a little bit more safe, bring in multiple tight ends, we run the ball, a lot of short passes, screens and things like that until this offense, I think, can get more cohesive. And I think that's also a good thing to like slowly grow throughout the year to eventually erupt when it fucking matters, not in week 2. So with all that rambling, like, I thought we took some good steps here, Chaz, but
Absolutely.
Yeah, running back were the heroes of the day for sure.
With that, gentlemen, we've got to go to our first commercial break. We'll be back in just a second. Looking to spice up that boring football party? Are your snacks just sad and banal? Well, then you need Cracker Jacks, pork cracklins, with all kinds of fun new flavors such as sea salt, black licorice, lutefisk, and of course my favorite, beans. Many new flavors coming out each and every month. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you need Cracker Jack's pork cracklins. It puts the crack in pork cracklins. I want to thank Pork Cracklins for all their donations and time. First and foremost, we talked about him last time, Quay's return. What went well, what went poorly? And I want this to be a bit of a spitfire. I want to see what you got. I want the positives and the negatives. Tyson, I know you got something to say.
Positives for Quay. Still, he can like hit a dude's bones out of his body. He's incredible at leaving an impact on the play. I think there was a lot of strength in what he does. The downside of Quay is that we gave up a lot in the middle, right through his area. They were able to game plan for him, so it had a mixed results.
Mayhew.
I love this kid. I simply do. I don't think he stood out quite as much as he did like in week 1, but I also think he's playing on a little bit of an injury and just he's a rookie. He's figuring it out. But I think it's also I'm just excited because there's actual speed and talent in the middle of the field that we haven't had like my entire like fucking life as a Packers fan, or at least like not to this capacity. And whether he took his bruises here or there, I still, man, to basically get down the field to what eventually became that 4th and goal, like on 3rd down, for him to basically recognize chasing Justin Fields to the sideline, to basically tear him down, get that knee down, and keep him from getting a TD. I mean, he hit the pylon. I was like, that guy, go back and watch that play. Anybody that's listening to this podcast, and you'll see athleticism that, God, Goody saw it all along. And so maybe I'm a little overhyped, but I'm a huge fan of Quay Walker, and I'm really excited to see what else he can do this year.
Absolutely, gentlemen. Right now, I've got a tweet coming in. This one I thought you guys would really love. It's really, really cute. What's his name? This is Max from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. He says, what's your guys' favorite color? And I think I can answer for all of us. It's kind of a 2-parter. It's green and it's gold. Am I wrong? I didn't think so. We're going to keep moving right along, gents. And thank you so much again, Max from Beaver Dam. Keep following. Tell everybody in your elementary school to follow us, even though you probably can't watch these videos because we say fuck a lot. If you had to pick, whose jersey are you buying this week? If you were going to spend the money, who are you putting on your back? Me personally, I got to say Jones. Of everybody that was playing this week, as far as points, as far as yards, as far as performance, it's an easy one to pick. That's why I picked it first. Tyson?
I mean, I guess for me, I'd say Smith on the defensive line. I think he showed up, remind everybody why he's here, why he is a force as our outside linebacker. So that's my choice, Smith.
I mean, I already have the jersey from week 1, so I got to go Pat O'Donnell again. So I got to spend that money. Can we talk about this guy a little bit more than I already do? Fucking 2 opportunities. He's kicking against his old team, so clearly a little bit more fucking swing behind that leg.
Isn't like the whole league his old team? Isn't that, to be fair?
Hey, yeah, dude, the second one, I swear to God, was like 72 yards in the air and then rolled like another 15 into the end zone. Other one before that, I don't know. All I remember was him pinning them inside the 20 or balls hanging up there where we just like either destroyed them or it was like fair catches. All these things I've been missing, like in a large capacity. It seems simple, but these are turning of the field positional fucking moments that pay dividends in the long run. So O'Donnell, my hat's off to you yet again, sir.
Man, special teams is coloring within the lines consistently, man. We're not having any crazy stuff. You can put this up on the refrigerator, guys. I mean, I'm so happy. You're right, Mayu. The special teams in general play, just like staying on track is going to give us like, I don't know, like a 15 to 20% better chance of winning the Super Bowl. If we can just not completely fucking give away possessions on special teams.
I totally agree. And I got to dog my guy one more time because it appears that the more shit I talk, the better they like turn around and rub it in my face the next week, you know? So Amari, it wasn't horrible, but
you piece of shit, Amari.
You don't instill excitement like on any degree. The ball goes up in the air and I'm just waiting for him to fucking fumble or something silly to happen. And it's like, and you fucking did again, man. God damn it. Back to you, Chess.
Actually, I think it's time for this is a segment I know Maggie was excited about. This is exciting. I mean, I feel like we got to talk about the 4-1, the touchdown review with Fields. Did he get in? Did he not get in? Thoughts, concerns?
I'm going to come straight out and say it. I'm a fucking Packers fan, clearly, you know, but that easily broke the plane for anybody with fucking eyes that doesn't need, you know, official, like over whatever the fucking term is, you know what I mean, to recall. And it's fine. They could have got that touchdown. We still would have fucking murdered these guys. I don't care. But it's like, let's be honest with each other. Tyson, you're shaking your head. You're going to say something stupid, but I'll let you do it.
Mayu. You say you're a Packers fan, and then you back it up with like, "But I know we cheated." It doesn't matter. Like, no way, dude. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. No way. He was down.
Tyson, do not shit in my mouth and call it a Sunday. You son of a bitch. Right? Let's be honest here. I think what I kind of came out of that play was at least like, when was the last time we had a goal stand like that? If anything, someone's been fucking ramming it down our throats, or we've been on the other end and just somehow got fucking stopped and crippled, you know? So
it was called last week with Zadarius Smith.
It's been really frustrating that we can't stop a team that needs to get like a yard or 2 or 3 consistently on the goal line scenario. So it was empowering to have that experience. I agree, Aaron, it would have been nice if it would have felt a little more pure. But it was inconclusive, you know what I mean? And are you going to call these guys liars? You know what I mean? These guys are like out there putting their bodies on the line as refs, you know what I mean? That seemed like a good call to me. I was fine with it.
It did make me contemplate that moment, like as a ref, like if you're going to go out there and deliver news where like 80,000 people are going to fucking hate you, that's got to be a tough part of the job.
Yeah, you don't want to walk your car after that one. But I mean, I was 50-50 across the board. I understood why they went with that call. If you can't physically see it, if it's not conclusive, then they're not giving it to them. But I mean, I think if
it was a momentum.
If you pick 10 refs, 5 of them are going one way, 5 of them are going the other, because it was pretty damn close, buddy. It's I could have gone either way. So I mean, I was happy that they didn't fucking get it, but also, you know, I was happy just to rub it in my Bears fans friend's face.
Wow.
But again, either way, I could have gone on that. My friends, we're gonna keep it going. We're going to go Smith versus Smith. Was Preston the right choice? I mean, in his interview after the game, I mean, he literally said, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. It just needs consistency. I mean, he said you could feel every yell in that stadium. Like the 12th man showed up. Sometimes a little too much, and they were telling him to quiet the fuck down. But personally, I think what he said was right on goal. I think it was a hell of a way to excuse me, to play the game. Tyson, thoughts?
I love Preston Smith as the guy that we stuck with. I mean, it's smart. It makes dollars and cents, first of all, because what we would have had to pay to keep Zadarius would have been an unsustainable. We aren't really going to pay that kind of contract. That's like, okay, so you're going to play like half that time, and then we're going to have a message divorce. Got it. Preston Smith, it seems like he came here with maybe a little less of a chip on his shoulder, but it was like it was a different kind of like, I want to prove it. And I feel like he appreciates what Green Bay means to the game of football and how we approach the game. And he did a prove it deal last year. He could have easily been like, fuck you guys. Clearly he cares about what we're about. He's willing to change his body nearly every year, gain some weight, lose it again. You know, it seems like he cares about what we're doing. So I'm really happy. Also, like he's one of the best edge setters in the game. Now, is he gonna get pressure against a top flight left tackle? No fucking way. He is gonna just hold the edge, you know. Whereas Zadarius, you know, you're gonna get a lot more pressure. He's gonna get at least 2 pressures and probably a sack every game, even against top flight talent. So I mean, I will take Preston for the overall usefulness and value that he provides, and I will throw the cherry on top. He's a much better locker room character to manage.
Unfortunately, I agree with a lot of what Tyson just said. Tyson,
fortunately,
yeah,
it's good points. It's a lot of good points. I think Zadarius like had more of the flash, and again, I think it's more if you're just looking at stats, you're looking at sacks, you're like, oh, Zadarius was the man, you know, for all this money, it makes like a lot of sense. But if you break down like actual like efficiency as like run defender, which is like vital, especially within this defense, you see he's like on the lower tier, like consistently. Whereas like, you know, Preston Smith, this guy might not put up the same kind of numbers. And I know he's been slightly up and down from year to year if you're looking at sack totals. But this guy, just like you said, sets the edge consistently, reliable. And when you talk about reliable, I'm talking about a guy that doesn't really get hurt. Like in his career, this guy has missed like maybe a handful of games. And that's really difficult in this league. And yesterday, my God, he was putting on a clinic. again against an offensive line that I think is trash, but like multiple sacks, multiple pressures, like no blown tackles. Guy was just showing up like in all facets of the game. And there's been some people talking shit about him in those years when he was down, and he kept his head up and kind of fought through. And I admire that as well, man. That's not easy to have a fan base, turn on you from time to time. And so, yeah, when it comes to Smith versus Smith, not an easy choice. I'm sure finances played a rather large role in it as well. But overall, I think it's just Brian Gutekunst and his team making yet another brilliant move, in my opinion.
Well said.
I also want to throw out Braxton Jones is dog shit. That's a terrible left tackle. So, like,
as far as consistency goes, as far as gameplay, controlling the ball, it seemed like we were burning through some timeouts. It seemed like there was some improper play clock management. That was me personally. I just thought that, especially and I'll say this on both sides of the ball, even the Bears, 2:30 left to go, they still had the 2-minute warning coming up, and they burned a timeout right before that. I mean, it was just, in my opinion, across the board, some very odd, weird things going on as far as controlling the clock. Was that just me, or does anybody else feel that?
Yeah, let me add him. I am so frustrated consistently. Just by I was in the car, like I was saying, I didn't make it back for the first game. First three series already. We used a timeout. I screamed, "God damn it!" in the car. Like, I don't even know what happened, but I'm just frustrated when I hear us waste a timeout, seemingly early in the half, because I don't even know what the fuck happened at that point. I need to go back and refocus on what that was about, but it might have been a good reason to do it. But I'm easily triggered because it just seems like we shit timeouts the entire Rodgers era. And I thought I didn't really have any notes or thoughts today to really shit on Rodgers. I thought he had a pretty great game. All in all, I was really happy with his play. But here we are. Mayhew, I'm gonna let you go for a minute. I know you share the sentiment with me completely. I don't want to eat up all the delicious.
Guys, 1 second here. I see we got Twitter's blowing up a little bit, and this looks like this one's directed at me, actually. All right, we got Billy 419. He's down in Tampa Bay. Boys, we're getting down south. That's not bad.
Ugh.
This one says, Aaron Mayhew, do you fucking understand how lighting works, you pale piece of shit?
Dude, he lives in a cave.
He works in a kitchen and he lives in a cave. What do you expect? The guy's in long sleeves.
That's him. That's where he lives.
That one cut.
Like
that one cut a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to a new segment we're starting this week, and it's called You Know What Grinds My Gears? Brought to you by Burt's D's Nuts.
No, Chaz, this isn't a game thing. This is a life thing. I got to get it off my chest because it was leading up to the game too. And it's certain type of individual that has fucking upset me for a long time. All right. So it's always, you go to the gas station, right? For whatever reason, you have to go inside and you're in a fucking hurry. Okay. And who do you get behind? Lottery ticket guy. All right. Now he wants to get multiple lottery tickets, probably a couple fucking scratch offs, and they're not used to that too, so they have a hard time finding them. You know what I mean? And their other favorite thing to do is a first name basis with the cashier. That's always my favorite. You guys are fucking college friends that have been knowing each other for a decade. You don't know her. She's wearing a name tag that says Karen. Fucking Christ. And then just when we think the whole thing is finally over, he forgot that he wants to get a pack of cigarettes because they all smoke fucking cigarettes, Chaz. Cigarettes and lottery tickets. We're finally almost done. I've controlled the rage. And what does he do? He forgot he needs a lighter. Let's do that. And they always pay in cash. Always. Because that's going to take just a little bit longer too. Am I right? So lottery ticket guy, fuck you.
I'm surprised he was an exact change guy. He seems like he fits every single thing. Oh, I got exact change. Hang on. I know I got it here. 26. And that's a nickel. That's too much. Hang on.
I just hope I didn't wake up the daughter on that one. That could have been, yeah. Sorry,
possible. Let's take a listen. And we're good. Tyson, what grinds your gears?
All right. Now, this is where I'm going to start to sound like an old man. But you know what really grinds my gears?
What's that?
I get it. you're in a technological age, world. You know, you don't have time to answer the phone all the time. There's some cool apps you can use to make it a little easier, but most people prefer to, you know, kind of text when they have time. And some people get to a point where they just won't communicate any other way but text. Now, I understand that's a preference for some, and I can get down with it if they're good texting, communicating people. But then there are those, who won't communicate any way but text and are Midwest nice and won't answer questions. So you ask them for a yes or no scenario. Can you do a thing at a time? And they're like, well, I am busy. So no. What time is it? Well, from this time to this time. You think you can make it? We could use the help. Hard to say. Like, just answer the fucking question. So people were like, I won't answer the phone, but I also won't. I'll beat around the bush on these answers. Also, I got some people, and I know this is an age thing too. They like to send thought like a sentence or paragraph in about 14 like 3-word sentence version text to you. So then I get like, people's dads are notorious for this. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna mow lawn this Thursday. Maybe Friday. It's supposed to rain Friday. Probably will do it Thursday though. You're like, I don't need any of this. I don't need any of this information. Is there a point here? So yeah, text, like not just texters, but annoying texters. They're like, if you said this, you realize this doesn't need to be said. And you're not answering my questions. Back to you, Jeff.
Understood. Well, boys, you know what grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears, bud?
What grinds my gears is no turn right on red guy. Fuck that guy. There's no sign that says no turn right on red, and that guy is sitting there. And he's sitting there, and he's sitting there. I'm running late to this game. I had to go all the way up to a Bears fan's house, which means I basically had to go to Illinois. And that's a long drive. And I get there. I'm on my final turn. I'm pulling from there into the gated community. I'm pulling in. And this guy is sitting there. He was just changing mirrors. Like, you want to give him a nice, just be like, hey, bro. Like, but no. Even had the balls before God and all that is holy to have his blinker on and not turn. So I'm just white knuckling the wheel, just, you know, and my girlfriend could see it, and I'm sitting there stewing. I got 3 minutes to kick off. If it doesn't say no turn on red, you fucking go. If it doesn't say no turn on red, but above the light, you see a camera, yeah, be safe about it. Fuck that guy. That's what grinds my gears.
Right, thanks.
Yeah, fuck that.
I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm sorry, I gotta throw this on there. Old men in pickup trucks that drive idle speed. What the fuck's up with that? Is there a point in your life that you're like, I'm done with any kind of speed limit? I refuse to accelerate. I will let everybody in, and I'm just gonna let off the brake. We're gonna go down the road and idle. What the fuck's going on there? Back to you, Jess.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get into our final segment. Break down a couple last things here. We're gonna call it the 4th and down territory warning. Now we're gonna get into a little bit more about, you know, people we don't want to talk about, namely the Bears. To start, I guess the best question and the best way to ask it is this: are the Bears / Justin Fields any good? I mean, 70 yards passing only for the game? Work in the pocket, scoring. I mean, we know the Bears still suck, but thoughts, gents? Open-ended.
Chaz, no, they are a paper tiger in every fucking meaning of the word. They come out of week 1 in a rained out fucking slosh puddle of a win against San Francisco, and San Francisco has just got to be licking their wounds. Like, how did we lose to these guys? And this isn't like a rivalry thing. I'm just using my eyes at this point. Justin Fields, not a good quarterback, okay? And what's interesting is I thought we would basically lock down in the run game and force this guy to pass because it seems like the best option given like, our secondary and like the weapons, if you want to call them that. I mean, aside from Daryl Mooney, like they call their number one, who I do respect, they're picking up our leftovers like Equinemius, a couple of big catches, I guess. These guys, like, what was it, like one catch each, like across the board? And Cole Kmet at tight end, I don't know if that guy's even caught a ball this season. It's uncanny, really. So is Justin Fields fast, athletic? Great. Fucking don't care, But the run game is, I think, where I got pissed off the most, Tyson, because these are not incredible quality backs, and more importantly, this offensive line is not good. So I thought we were gonna dominate up front, and that kind of takes me back to where the defensive line struggles and defending the run game has been our Achilles heel forever. Right? Like we win 13 games, we get into the playoffs, and somebody like San Francisco rolls into town and just fucking demoralizes us year after year. I thought we made some moves this year. Obviously with like Quay re-signing Campbell like in the middle. And then, guys like Jerron Reed, they were hyping him up. I do like TJ Slayton as like a run stuffer, at least like in my head. Lowry, Kenny Clark always going to do his thing. But man, they were getting a lot of movement up front and like giant holes. And we looked two rather pedestrian running backs looked like fucking stars yesterday. Tyson, tell me I'm wrong. I don't know.
I love telling you you're wrong, but I can't in this situation. And I would if you were. I was they figured something out in our tape, because you're right. That's not a good offensive line. And those running backs were running full speed through those holes like they knew they were there. Like they knew they were going to be there. Like there's definitely some kind of tell they figured out. They definitely worked Quay a little bit. And that was what I'm also so impressed with Quay, because there was a point in the game where he was getting kind of beat a little bit here and there. And he turned it around and started making plays, and kind of the defense took it back over after that. But I'd like to go back and look at the tape again. I barely rewatched the game, so I'd like to rewatch it one more time and kind of see what's going on there, because it did seem like they were a legitimate running team against us, and I'm quite sure this team is like a living example of a participation trophy. Like, how the fuck are they running on us more than like once a quarter? Like, whoopsie, someone messed up and there it is, and now we know what happened. They were working the middle of the field. I don't know. Aaron, what do you got?
I just think I want to throw a couple numbers at you real quick here, Tyson. So this is Pro Football Focus, per usual. Bottom 5 defensive players as of yesterday. Coming in at number 1, our good friend TJ Slayton with a 38.7 performance. That is bottom of the barrel. Number 2, right next to him, Jerron Reed, coming in at 52, which is very, very low from respectable. And then I think a shocking one here, guys, I just got to throw out there is Rashaan Gary with a 59 yesterday. Only enhancing my point that a lot of sacks, a lot of pressures, but the guy's getting beat on like the run game and like a couple other small details that don't show up in this fucking stat line. So everybody out there, open your eyes a little bit, pay attention to the details, because that what makes a team good. And that's what makes a team fucking great. And God damn it, we got a long way to go here, but it's okay. It's about growth. Am I right, Tyson?
It is. I'd also like to say it's about rotation. If TJ Slayton's fat ass is getting rocked on that level, don't we got like 4 other like pigs in that lineup that could jump that nose tackle position? Like, we got some serious meat on the defensive line this year. I would have liked to have seen some rotations, because we were getting killed right up the gut, and that really fits. So it's a shame that that they were able to take advantage of the run game. That being said, I don't believe that the trajectory of Justin Fields progressing as like a quarterback who lives a year and plays a year of playing quarterback versus like the damage that's going to be done to Justin Fields by playing quarterback for the Bears and taking all the hits and losing all his hard losses and losing all that hope, and that look he had on the sideline when he's like, damn it, I thought we were going to do it. You're like, it's never going to happen, motherfucker. Never going to happen. That's going to wear on this dude, and he's not going to get a second contract by them. He'll be a backup. And it's a shame. It's not his fault. He could have been good on like the Patriots or a team that knew how to develop a mid-level quarterback to potential stardom. That's now the Bears. They don't know how to do it. And look at what they did with Nick Foles. Didn't work out. You know what I mean? Put him on the Eagles Super Bowl.
Tyson, are you saying this is a top down situation like that basically is building this dumpster fire that we call Chicago?
Absolutely, you guys. This is like a perpetual motion dumpster fire that is unextinguishable. It is an unextinguishable, like, burning hole in Illinois because this owner is awful. They make terrible choices as to everything from there on out, and they've been doing it historically on a family level for decades, and it's incredible. It's incredible to see how many bad choices they've made. You can chart their poor choices from Ditka on. Ditka was not the right guy. You had a better coach, and you let him walk to the Eagles. So, I just think that they're really terrible at choosing leaders. They choose the wrong people that lead the wrong way. They draft the wrong people. They treat them the wrong way. It's just there's not a way that you can be talented enough to overcome the parachute of incompetence that's like constantly laying on top of your head while you're trying to play football. You can't do it. It's not possible. Talk to the Raiders of that fucking stupid haircut. There's no fucking way. I don't care who you got. I don't care where you play. If that guy's in charge, you're in trouble. That's trouble.
Well, I mean, wrapping up the Bears, though, how many times have we seen where it comes down to us and them, though? NFC Championship, or trying to get a wild card, or, don't get me wrong, it's usually us in the end. But this is something I'll say about the Bears is, like I said in the last podcast, every time we play the Bears, especially when we're in a decade where we're ahead, is literally their Super Bowl. And they're gonna always show up to play us, if not at all. You know what I'm saying? And agree or disagree.
Chaz, I completely agree. Per usual, you're living in decades of past. Okay, this team is fucking trash. It's been that way for the past 10 years. And I don't see them climbing out anytime soon.
It's fine. I'm hoping I never have to give you an "I told you so" due to the Bears.
I completely agree. I agree with everything you said too, Chaz. Everything you're saying is right on par.
Well, let's put the Bears to bed and remember one thing. May you just said it, but not in the classic way, which is the Bears still suck. Now we know. Great.
I will also say that they do one thing that I didn't mention, but they always expose something about the Packers, good or bad, because it is their Super Bowl. They are planning for this game all off season up to this point, and then today is the beginning of planning for the next Packers game. That's when they start game planning. They forget about all the rest of the game. It's all about us. That's all that matters. So I do think it exposes something that we have that is either good or bad, usually both. Today, that last game, I think that's true also. It showed a lot of weaknesses that we still have across the team. They were still exposed even against this team. And then also there was some things to build on. So I appreciate the Bears in some ways because they're a team that often finds something that we need to work on.
Guess, question. If you had to guess how many passing yards that team put up against us yesterday, just shoot from the hip. What are your thoughts?
Passing yards?
Passing yards.
Ooh, I got to go 70, 80 passing yards.
120? Yeah, I'd say 120.
I know it wasn't a lot. It was not a lot.
48 yards.
Whoa! Is that low?
48.
It's trash.
Feels like there's more than that. Is that right? I guess there's some long handoffs. What was I looking at?
Stats don't lie.
Grandma
The numbers
puts on more yards in
don't
her house
lie.
every day than that.
Those screen passes, those are all straight up handoffs, old school. That's it. That's crazy.
Wow. That's horrible. Horrible. Jesus. Well, gentlemen, something we don't normally talk about, but just to get a feel out there for it, is any other NFL news catch your eye this week? Anything from anywhere else in the league that you're thinking about?
I certainly was interested to see what happened there in San Fran, and I'm disappointed, quite frankly. I was ready to watch Trey Lance slowly, not realize that he's not good. throughout the season. And then this Jimmy G experiment would come back at like week 9, week 10 after they realize this guy sucks. With the injury to Trey Lance right away, 49ers are back, dude. And like now we have to deal with the 49ers with a professional quarterback again who throws like Tom Brady from 8 years ago. Which ironically is the worst throw than Tom Brady today.
Is that the one you coined Janine Garoppolo?
Janine Garoppolo is back. Janine is back, guys.
That mad force of a quarterback. Yeah.
Hashtag Janine Garoppolo.
Yeah, Chaz, I was interested in the Bucks game for sure. Just always looking ahead to the next opponent a little bit, right? And the Saints, man, have had his number for whatever reason. Like, struggles with them, really strong defense. I was kind of higher on the Saints in general. And Saints were in that game holding on, and then goddamn fucking Tom Brady does what he does at the end of every game. Pulled out a win. But
you see that dime he dropped? That fucking corner dime was like, Jesus Christ, dude. 40-yard out. Looked awesome. Sorry.
Well, keep with it, man. What about any key matchups for us for next week?
Well, I'm always just kind of looking at us, Chaz, in that regard. But I will say, I know our listeners right now are going to find this completely irrelevant by the time they hear it. But currently, the Philadelphia Eagles are up 24-7 on the Minnesota Vikings with 1 minute left to go in the third. And it's been looking pretty dominant, boys, on the Philly side of things. Minnesota is struggling. They got all jacked up after week 1 because you should see Kirk Cousins' face right now on the sidelines. He looks like everything.
Tired, baby?
Does he look like Kirk Cousins? I bet he does.
Yeah, he looks exactly like Kirk Cousins.
At his wedding day or maybe Thanksgiving. Is that what he looks like then, too? Fucking loser. I'm just tired of his shit. Tired of his fucking face. Tired of listening to anyone from Minnesota. Think if they won one game, they get to talk shit all year. Yeah, enjoy it while you had it. That was a fun week for you. Now the reality of you have Kirk Cousins as your leader comes crashing down. Enjoy watching him. Enjoy him being the captain of your life. Sounds terrible to me. I'll take Rogers' ayahuasca experience any day.
Well, then, while we're talking ayahuasca, can we talk about the Lazard celebration? Can we talk about the magic tea?
Funny.
We all knew as soon as it was happening. We're like, we know
Rogers
those aren't the whiskey.
Didn't knock him out. He was like, yeah, I'll take another. Give me another. You know, everyone else was knocked out. He's like, no, I know what to do here.
Hell of a great celebration. I mean, I was literally in tears, laughing, rolling on the ground. Not unlike they were after taking those shots of what they call it, dynasty.
You know what's funny is that the Packers, like, there's all these celebration dances at the end. And every like 2 years, the Packers come out with like a really great one, and it like makes the Madden game, like the bobsled one, or like we're much more creative with our coordinated dances at the end. Whereas every other team just does like the same thing, where they kind of like bounce in front of the camera for a minute, you know. I don't know. I like the effort that we put towards our dances. That's all I have to say.
We're going to get a little bit into our 2-minute drill, my friends, where one of our favorite things we've kind of kept with, and I think it's a good section, a good segment, forgive me, because it kind of grounds us a little bit. I mean, this is purely for entertainment and just so that we can see each other and talk Packers football. But I want to talk Packers memories, first and foremost. This week, again, because I got yelled at last week because I went to Mayhew too often. So I'm going to go and stick with my mode this week. And Tyson, can I ask you a favorite Packer memory in recent history?
Recent history?
Whatever, just history.
Okay. All right. It was the Arizona game where we were in the playoffs and we had no wide receivers left. And we were down to Jeff Janis and Jared Abadaris, and we seemed to have had no chance. And Rodgers hit not one but two incredible fucking Hail Marys in one game. And I literally like a TV that broke, like stopped seeing two colors in my head when that second Hail Mary hit. And like Jeff Janis jumped up and grabbed it, fell down. Like I yelled so loud that I like had like I think a mini stroke. And it was amazing. It was the most the most pure dopamine dump I've ever experienced on my brain. And I'm unfortunately broken now for the rest of my life from that, but it was worth it. And I'm waiting for the next one, Rogers. Let's go. That's my memory of the day. I don't know the year. Sorry, guys.
The year was 2005.
There he goes.
And this would be the first time I ever saw a Packer game live with my wife. We were very young. Went with my parents, and my brother actually had a buddy that lived a block away, literally. You know what I mean? Since he grew up, you know what I mean? So there it is, Lambeau in the background, picturesque, all that stuff. We're drinking beers, we're eating chicken wings, and we go and we're playing the Saints, right? Now, this is Brett Favre time, as we're all well aware. But the Saints drive down, very first drive. They're moving the ball, too, moving it hard, and couldn't quite get in the end zone. So 3 points right out of the gate. We then proceeded to pile 52 points on top of these guys for a final score of 52-3. It wasn't even like, it's almost too much celebration at that point. You know what I mean, guys? Everything that possibly could have went right that day did. And our peripheral view of like some of these touchdown passes from number 4 were iconic for me. A really great way to start our Packer life together. And it was a special one, boys. It really was.
Great one, brother. Great one. This one's going to get me in a little bit of trouble because I'm trying to remember. I remember the game. I don't remember the team. And as soon as I talk about it, you're going to know. It was either the Eagles or the Seahawks. This was when Hasselbeck was playing against us. And it was one of the coldest games I'd ever been at in my fucking life. I was in the southern end zone looking down the field. Packers are going north. And we go into OT, and he literally says for the coin toss, we're going to receive and we're going to score. And sure enough, and I can't even remember who got that interception, but the moment.
Oh, Harris.
Thank you. Of course, I knew you'd know. And that whole, I mean, had to be minus 20 or more in that stadium. And my God, it's just freezing my dick off. And that stadium erupted with noise and energy for that. And he ran it all the way back for a pick six, game ender. That was it.
And he started celebrating like the second he caught that ball.
His fingers in the air. Chaz, I didn't know you were at that game. That was, man, yeah. That is legendary.
I think he only had one arm that year, too.
Eagles.
Like,
Eagles?
Had the arm wrap.
No, that was Seahawks.
Seahawks, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, Al Harris had like the severe arm injury that he's like came back with like an insane look in his eye and like an ace bandage wrapped all the way around his arm. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like that should be enough, but he's ready to go, I guess.
Tape some aspirin on it, dear bud.
Wanted to play, God damn it. Dual dreads, that was the greatest time. You guys remember dual dreads? We had Mackenzie and Al Harris. God, that could have been the greatest. It wasn't, but it should have been. Could have been.
It was real close, man. It was 4th and 26, and we would have been there. But that's for another show.
Oh, that's the worst Packers memory.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our sponsors today, Cracker Jack's Pork Cracklins. We also want to finish with our final commercial of the day. Are you exhausted at the end of the day? Are you hungover from last night? Well, try Sleep, a fun new product from Mattel. How does it work, you ask? Simple. Just lay down, close your eyes, and the special performing Sleep's patented technology will have you counting sheep in a jiffy. But how much does it cost, do you ask? That's the thing. It's free. You lay down, you sleep. So basically all you need to do is find your local bedroom, couch, lawn chair, or behind the wheel of your car and just go the fuck to sleep. Two Dads and a Chaz podcast brought to you by Sleep, something that two dads never get, but a Chaz
I can't believe they're our sponsor. That can't be fucking right.
Hey man, if they call in and they want us to plug them, I plug them. Whether or not they're real or not, we're here for it. So
I'm definitely paying for it. I don't know how you guys are getting it for free.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please check out Two Dads and a Chaz Packer podcast. Hashtag Huck It, Chuck It. Gentlemen, final thoughts before we're going to close this out. How do you feel?
Chaz, coming from me is the underlying theme, as always. There's room for growth, baby. This show, we're only scratching the surface, just like this Green Bay Packers team as well. And I think we got nothing but a bright future. So I'm excited for anybody out there listening to continue to follow this team, because there might just be a trophy latent at the end of the line.
I want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to me good, okay? This is a big year. I want your focus. I want your energy, goddammit. Because what we got here is a serious opportunity. If you could just take your time, think about this seriously for a second. Put a little extra effort in this year. You got to listen to a podcast or two, okay? You got to get out there. Say, I'm going to walk the dog, hun. Get us in your ear, because that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take to make this okay with my family, that I'm taking the time to do this, and to make us win the Super Bowl, goddammit. It's about the Packers. It's about the game. Let's go. Go Packers.
I like it. Two Dads and Chaz podcast. We got the Bucks coming up later. Final thoughts. I want to hear it real quick. Spitfire style. I want to hear score. Aaron, what do you think it's going to be? Go.
Chaz, this is going to be a tight bout through and through. 24-27 Packers.
24-27 for the Packers. You went with the Packers this time. Smart move. Aaron, thank you. Tyson, go for it.
I think that we're going to finally see what Romeo Doubs is about. I think we're going to finally see what Christian Watson is about. I think we're going to see a lot of points in this game, boys. And I think we're going to come out victorious. I'm going to say we're going to win by a score of 38-31 Packers.
Damn you. I was literally 38-31.
Yeah, is that what you're going to say?
I was real close. Yeah, I'm just going to Mayhew. I'm going to say 97-2.
No, after all this, I got to I'd like to bid $1. $1, Chaz, please.
$1?
$1, Bob.
All right, $1.
$1, Bob.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping in at Two Dads and Chaz podcast. We will be here until they tell us not to be, until we get shut down and or canceled. Everybody, I want to say, normally at this time of night, we like to give a fond farewell. I'm feeling like hashtag fuck the Bucks tonight, boys. Are you feeling like that? Hashtag 3, 2, 1. Fuck
the Bucks!
Two Dads and a Chaz putting trophies on the wall. Two Dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two Dads and a Chaz.